Thanks for staying with us. Let's start with the papers. The Nation, CJN, public opinion does not determine court decisions. CSU deposition authenticates Tinubu certificate. Snakes take over Osun courtrooms. How we cleared over 200,000 passport backlog by Interior Minister. Jebo denied use of government house office. Crude theft, not only reason for low production, says agency. Investments in solid minerals will stimulate economy. And UAE team in Abuja to fine-tune talks on visa ban and others. Okay, which story are we starting with in
Major headline. So yesterday, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ariwola, was giving out the oath of office to new appointees of the appointed judges of the Federal High Court, and he reiterated that only the law and the Constitution should guide the business of the law, and that, you know, all this noise online should not concern justice. He said several vitriolic attacks are regularly heaped on the judiciary. It's, however, crystal clear that public opinion, no matter how serious or weighty it might be, cannot override or supersede the constitution of the country, which we apply in deciding each cases. And he swore in 23 new judges of the Federal High Court yesterday. I hope that, you know, this is just confirming how the business of law is separate from, you know, that of the public court.
I have Edo State gist. So the deputy governor, yesterday they said resumed office. So at the new office, you know, he had been taken away from the regular office, and he's been taken to this office in the GRA area in Benin. And they said that when he got there, they had a whole group of prayer warriors that came to the office. They were praying and anointing the place. But, you know, the paper said they spoke to someone who says that this is something that the deputy governor has always done anyway, where they do these prayers, and they call all the clerics together in Catholic clerics together in Edo State to come and do those prayers. So they said the deputy governor had assumed that because his apology had finally been accepted by the governor, he'll be allowed into his old office and into the government house. But when he got there, he was told, Mbano, go back to where we have put you. And also his media aides that used to work from the government house have been banned from there, and they are not sure as of the time of this report if they'll be allowed to be working from there anymore. So, and then finally, you know, also we know that the issues that were surrounding this was his ambition to be governor. Well, the report here says that he says after his term, he will go on to dedicate his life to God.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Let me take this story from the acting chairman of FIRS, that's Judicial Adedeji, visited the Minister of Solid Minerals yesterday, Mr. Dele Alake, where he said that about 18% taxable limit for the GDP, which is a far cry from the 78%, contributing to the declining oil and gas sector. He also said that the solid minerals is the next big thing. It's huge, and they're gathering data on the precise materials that we have, and that the FIRS boss also said that there's a huge potential to rescue the economy. The Minister of Solid Minerals himself also said that the vision and agenda of the administration are rooted in the avowed determination of the president to lift the country to loftier heights using this new sector. They were saying that it's our next oil, that we are here to ensure that they get it right, because it means that the future of Nigeria will be secured if they're able to get this mineral sector right. So right now they're gathering data to know exactly what we have, and then we'll take it from there. But it's about 18% that's taxable if this sector begins, and it begins to raise revenue for the country.
Yes, so a chief magistrate sitting in Yaba, Chief Magistrate Adeola Olatubosun, has ordered the Naira Marley and Sam Larry to be detained for the next 21 days. Some papers say 30 days, some papers say 21 days. But anyway, they are to allow the police to conclude their investigation. They have been detained, but they should be allowed access to their lawyers and their medical, you know, to
I just
And
want
they
to
have declared prime boy suspect, wanted, sorry,
Wanted, yes.
because they've invited him and he's refused to go. So and in some papers they said there's a $1 million bounty on his head. Not in this paper,
They
but
gave his full description, how tall he is, his complexion and everything, and his address and so.
Okay,
So I
the
want
punch.
to sorry.
That's the way in Nation.
This, yes, in the nation, the snakes and the reptiles take over. So in Osun State, the NBA president for Osun has written to the governor asking him to do better to the judiciary. In that letter, he decried the state of the courts, he lamented the poor infrastructure, decay of courtrooms, and he said the judges and magistrates are the poorest paid in the southeast. He compared their salary.
southeast, I mean southwest.
Sorry, southwest, sorry. This southeast thing is just at the back of my head. You know, in the southwest, he compared them with states to states like Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo, and he's saying that some have not been given any cars for the past 10 years that they've been appointed. Some who have cars were given those cars over 12 years ago, saying that even the past administration didn't treat the judges or the judiciary better. And judiciary staff workers are the poorest paid. I think that, you know, this is a state of emergency and the governor should, you know...
And the snakes have taken over the courtroom.
Yes,
The punch. Economic crisis. States borrow 46 billion naira from banks to pay salaries. Picture here. Judgments based on constitution, not public opinion, says CJN. Teacher's car crushes people to death in Lagos school. 5 Katsina varsity students kidnapped. Police nabbed informant. Ministerial nominee faints. Journalist dies in National Assembly shuttle. Chicago Varsity vindicates Tinubu presidency, insists article files documents today. FG to convert 10 million PMS vehicles to CNG. And Naira, among Africa's worst currencies, falls by 40%, says World Bank. Okay, which story?
I was going to take the 10-year-old pupil who was knocked down. Apparently, the teacher had come in the morning, parked his car, and gone inside. So about 1 p.m., the car started to roll. The child wasn't facing the car, so she didn't see the car coming, and the car just rolled and knocked her. She knocked her head to the ground.
There was no driver in the car. It was just rolled off.
No driver in the car. The teacher even went to the police to report, and they detained him. They said they are investigating.
Really, really
sad.
sad.
Very sad. They rushed her to the hospital. Those ones said they couldn't treat her. They rushed her to another hospital, and she was dead. Poor child.
We need to deal with this hospital that cannot treat people. It's a major topic.
Yes,
we need to let's talk about it.
It's really, really terrible. Because maybe if the first hospital had been able to do something,
yes,
maybe she would
her
have
life.
survived. Very, very extremely sad story.
Another story in Punch. Let's see how much time we have. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Miriam has a story. Go ahead.
So I have this star story. 5 Katsina varsity students kidnapped, but the police are saying that they have nabbed terrorist informants. So the police in Katsina on Wednesday have confirmed that 5 female students of the Federal University, Dutsima, I'm not sure I got that pronunciation right, have, so they've confirmed they're kidnapped. People who have been speaking to, reporters have said that they're all final year students that were arrested from their hostel. That were kidnapped from their hostel. But the police is also saying that they have arrested a suspected informant to terrorists, and they are right on the case of it, and hopefully, they'll be able to bring these girls back. But I want to use this opportunity really to talk about the number of kidnapping that has been happening in the north. Well, we know that there's so many things happening. It's widespread across Nigeria, but there's just this with kidnapping recently in the north.
Attack on educational...
On students especially. And the youth, to be fair, a lot of people always say, the north is always quiet, they're not speaking up. But the north also feels that when something happens in any other part of Nigeria, there's a lot of attention on media, government, people coming out. I've seen northern youths carrying placards, Ariwa, Mufarka, secure the north, end insecurity in the north. Their numbers are not as large as if it were to happen in Lagos or Abuja, yes. But, they are speaking out and they're asking that the government should please look into this and resolve this once and for all. These are children, they go to school hoping to get an education. And we know the story and the history of education in the north. And this is a huge deterrent, really, you know, going forward. So I hope that the presidency is looking into this issue right now, and let's see how we can quickly resolve it. The north is asking for our help.
I'd like to just rest it like that and drop my story in the point.
Okay.
You know,
Moving on now to Daily Sun. Tragedy of Senate. Epidemic looms in Delta community as bodies litter scene of fuel tanker fire. Chicago Varsity presidency says Tinubu's certificate not fake amid mixed reactions. Court remands Naira Marley over Mohbad's death. Trouble looms in health sector. 31,000 primary healthcare centers collapse. Gunmen storm Federal Varsity, Kaduna, abduct 5 female students. And CGN tasks 23 new judges on impartiality. Okay, which story?
So let me take the primary health care, trouble looms in health sector. So the House of Reps Committee on Health Services, the chairman, Dennis Idahosa, has said that unless the federal government and state governments move urgently, over 33,000 primary health care centers that we have in the country, or he generally mentioned the health sector may collapse. And he said that out of the 33,000 primary health care centers that we have, only 5% are functional, that the 5% amount to about 1,650, and we have about 31,000 primary health care centers now presently comatose. They are not working, and you know those are the first point of contact for any health services. So he also talked about personal experiences that he's had, his family members who have visited healthcare centers, but they as a body are doing, you know, after the investigation found it like that. He was hosted by the management of the Sun Media Development Foundation, and he was led by the executive director, Victor Emerua. And I'm hoping that, you know, there'll be a partnership with them to put out pictures of the state of each of the primary health care centers covered.
Okay. An epidemic is looming in Koko Community, West Local Government area of Delta State, as bodies float in water at the scene of the Sunday, October 1st, fuel tanker explosion. Daily Sun was reporting that 2 bodies have been pulled out of the swamp, while another has been identified. One of the sympathizers who preferred anonymity said that some bodies were recovered from the swamp the previous day, while others were still yet to come up. They're really fearing that this might lead to a serious epidemic in the society, in the community. The House of Reps yesterday observed the minute of silence in honor of the victims of the tanker explosion and called the FEMA to fix the dilapidated portion of the road, and also NEMA and others to, and the disaster, Ministry of Humanitarian and Disaster Management and Social Development to also provide relief materials to the entire community. Really, really sad. Something must be done to really, really remove all the dead bodies. I guess you have to wait for them to also come up before you can evacuate.
They don't have to wait for them.
You can actually be,
yes.
okay.
The fire has ended, and they should have already been, you know, clearing that scene, because we don't want another pandemic, right?
Yeah.
This has happened.
Okay, another story in Sun. Let's move on quickly now to Vanguard. State split over federal government's 35,000 wage award to federal workers. Court-martial declares Major General guilty of $1.47 million theft. World Bank paints gloomy picture of growth in Nigeria. CGN to judges, we must rise above temptations. Terrorists abduct 5 varsity students in Katsina. One suspected arrested. President Atiku disagree over certificate Tinubu submitted to INEC. Senate screens, confirms 3 additional ministers for Tinubu as Lawal slumps. And FG issues 2-week deadline for passport processing, clears over 204,000 backlog. Okay, which story?
So a court-martial sitting in, so a special court-martial set up by the Nigerian Army has found the former group managing director and executive vice chairman of the Nigerian Army Properties Limited, Major General Umar Mohammed, guilty of 14 out of 18 count charges that he was brought before him. And all of these charges border around stealing, other sundry offenses, and forgery, conspiracy, theft, unauthorized diversion of army property, among others. And he was, you know, he was found guilty of collecting over $1 million paid by shipping companies for the use of Nigerian Army jetty located in Marina Victoria Island. He was also found guilty of $430,800 being monies paid into the Nigerian Army domiciliary account at the Unity Bank Abuja for the use of Nigerian Army jetty. He He was also found guilty of withdrawing and confiscating the sum of 74 million naira out of 75 million naira paid for a property belonging to the Nigerian Army. But he was absolved of...
out of 75, 74.
The total amount is about $1.47 million that he was found guilty of. But, you know, he was absolved of allegations that he sold the army property worth 200 million naira in Lagos, and he stole another one of about 750 million
Only
naira.
He, one person.
Only him, the million I'm calling. But the good side of it is that, you know, this special court martial usually have the same jurisdiction as a high court. So we are sure that this is a proper prosecution. And hopefully we'll get,
so I was going to take the 22 that died in the boat, drowned in... Are you going to take the story?
No, that's fine. Take it.
You can take it.
Take it, Waiki.
You know, you will take it.
No, take it.
You will say everything. Yeah, we just gloss over it. So, anyway, 22 people died. They drowned from the Kasabu village in Agwara local government. They were taking the boat from point A to point B, and there was heavy downpour, and the boat capsized. 22 of them drowned. They found 6 bodies. Most of them were not wearing life jackets.
Again, this is this year.
This is
the second time.
It's like...
And then, they tried, the rescue team, they said that they were not able to rescue more because it's been raining and they had their divers in the water for quite a long time. So hopefully with the rain stops.
Sad.
Let me take the major headlines. So states are split yesterday over the agreement of the federal government to pay 35,000 naira to workers to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal. Some states, like I think here in Delta State, and also even in Kwara State, said they've already started paying about 10,000 naira to their workers in addition, but they were quite silent on their readiness to upscale that to 35,000. Kebbi State to say they're going to have a meeting with their own cabinet to determine what they will be willing to pay at this time. In Enugu, the government agreed to replicate the federal government's wage award of 35,000 to its own workers. So Enugu was ready and said they were very prompt in the distribution of palliatives to their people, and this wage award won't be any different according to the government, Uguake from Enugu State, which is a good thing. So he's the Commissioner for Labor and Employment, Chika Uguake. He was saying that they would definitely conform to the federal government's 35,000 naira. So we'll see. I guess all the various states have different perspective for now. Let's see if we can take any more stories. Okay, let's move on now to the Nigerian Tribune. How Nigeria or other African countries can avert a lost decade, says World Bank. Reps probe 22 billion naira Lagos Shango Abeokuta Road construction contract. Bandits abduct 5 federal university students in Katsina. 2 killed, many injured. Residents flee in the renewed Ifon-Ilubu communal clash. Visa ban UAE officials arrive to continue meeting with Nigeria today. Scare as Kaduna Ministerial Nominee slumps during screening. Senate confirms him and 2 others. NRC suspends workers who collected cash from passengers on board Lagos-Ibadan train. And applicants will now get passports in 2 weeks. Okay, which story?
I think the applicants will now get passports in 2 weeks. So the Minister for Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, has made it, so he said that the backlog that we've had, over the past few years, they've been able to clear it. He said that he says, I'm trying to get the numbers here. He says they've cleared 204,322 passport application backlog as of October 1st this year. And then he had urged that Nigerians should collect their passport also without making any additional payments. 91,281 passports have been collected out of the 204,322 backlog. He also said that going forward, Nigeria would not have to wait more than 2 weeks to receive their passports. Also that, like when you need to get a passport, renew your passport, you can just send your picture even online. You don't have to get there physically, except for the biometrics where you have to go there because that is a sensitive security issue. You have to go to the offices to do that. But when you're applying for it, you can just send
You don't need your
pictures.
biometrics for renewal.
So
no?
that's where you can send your picture and then you get to do your renewal. So he's also threatened the vendors, the service providers, going forward. They don't want to see that people are waiting endlessly to receive their passports. And this is
More
like
than
good
impressed.
news.
You had said 2 weeks.
I actually
Yes.
listened
Think about
to
it.
him. I listened to him, and I really like the guy. I have to say, I really like the guy. He's young, he's vibrant, and I really hope
He's ready to do the
he's
work.
not. He even spoke about how he was at the airport and he saw how they were treating people with passports on arrival, how they were rude to them, and he came down hard on them. So I really liked that.
I'm happy that you've merged his office with the NIMC's office.
Yes, I wanted
Hopefully,
to go
we'll
there.
start getting our cards
Yes.
now, because what we have is a temporary print of your numbers and everything. And
I even have my card. I got my card, but it's okay.
I
Go
wanted to
ahead.
take the NRC suspending workers. The NRC, Nigerian Railway Corporation, has suspended some of its workers who appeared in a viral video. They were collecting money from passengers without tickets. So they've suspended them for misconduct, and they have apologized to everybody. They are taking action, and it's
Suspension matter.
it's not.
a
But they
serious
said they are going to investigate.
high-level corruption.
Yes, we agree.
But I was on a train recently, and one of the managers was also there, and he was talking with glory. He was so proud of the work they've done so far, how that they're going to be opening new stations very soon. So I know there's a lot of work being put in there. So the fact that I'm happy that they're suspending them, but actually there should be more stringent measures to take to deter this. However, I also understand that they don't want to get rid of these people, because I saw them bringing them in trucks, the workers, taking them in the morning and taking them back home. So there's a lot of investment in these people. So maybe they want to
but I think from what they say,
retrain them.
They are not going to suspend them. Once they investigate and they find them guilty, they'll probably sack them.
Okay.
But they have to.
Okay, while
They have to
investigation
suspend
is
them
ongoing.
first while they are
Investigating.
investigating. So, because me too, I was saying suspension, okay. But then when I read it properly, I saw that.
Okay, just while investigation. Because when I went there, I saw the buses brought the trains. I mean, they have trucks that bring them to work in the morning and take them back home. And so they're really making sure the workers are well taken care of. So they shouldn't be doing this kind of fraudulent thing. But let me go on a break now. It's Thursday, and we return. First, we bring our friends from First FBN Quest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.